stories of the night. Philippines reached 8 million mark in COVID-19 administration. Philippine government signs a 14 million supply deal with Pfizer vaccines. DOH detects Delta variants in the country. Manila Metropolitan Theater opens for public on December. Gilas Pilipinas sweeps window of 2021 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Eurotv News brings you the latest happenings over the globe. Good evening, my name is Alvin Pelobello and here are the world's latest stories. A total of 8,407,342 COVID-19 vaccines have been administered by the Philippine government. Based on the Department of Health data as of June 21st, 2021, there are 6,253,400 Filipinos have received the first dose of vaccines against COVID-19. 2,153,942 Filipinos are fully vaccinated, a record high of 1,461,666 total doses administered in the 16th week of national vaccination rollout. Despite of these pleasant numbers, government are still urging Filipinos to be vaccinated under their designated priority groups and still needs to complete their jobs. Priority group of the Filipinos who are now eligible for COVID-19 vaccination is now up to the A5 category. Regardless of this vaccination status, everyone is still urged to continue practicing minimum health standards with the continuous risk of COVID-19. In line with that, Philippines would now have enough doses of COVID-19 vaccines as the government signed a supply deal of 40 million doses of Pfizer vaccines from the COVAX facility. On Monday, Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque said that there are at least 158 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines are expected to arrive in the following months.
Na pinirmahan ng Pilipinas ang isang supply agreement sa Pfizer para sa pagbili ng 40 million doses. Ito ang pinakamalaking bilang ng bakuna na nabili ng Pilipinas. Ang shipment ng Pfizer ay inaasahang darating ngayong Agosto.
Roque said that this could be an enough number to achieve the country's population before the end of the year 2021. The purchase of vaccines will follow 113 million doses from 5 vaccine manufacturers, over 44 million doses from COVAX, and 1 million doses from Sinovac donations. It was earlier announced by the Vaccine SAR and National Task Force Chief Implementer Calito Galvez Jr. that Philippines are expecting for a steady supply of vaccines in the supply agreement signed by the government. The Department of Health has announced the detection of the new Delta variants of coronavirus disease in the country. Cases now is at the total of 17 Delta variants. The details from this report from Warren de Guzman.
The local government units are now in the heightened alert after the most contagious Delta variant of COVID-19 has been detected by the health experts in the country. 3 of 4 Delta variant has been detected in crew members of MV Eastern Hope, who is anchored at South Korea. Crew members were tested positive in COVID-19 in South Korea and has been repatriated in the country on June 3rd. They undergo quarantine. 2 of them have been recovered, but the other one stay in the hospital. The other patient is an overseas Filipino worker based on Saudi Arabia. He repatriated in country on May 24th but declared as recovered on June 10. All 4 infections have no travel history in India, a place where Delta variant first detected. The Philippines now had a total of 17 cases Delta variants. This is 60% more contagious compared to Alpha variant detected in United Kingdom. The expert says it has 1:8 reproduction rate and can infect up to 8 individuals. Isolation protocols for the upcoming OFWs will strongly be implemented, as the government will urge its reiteration of prevention, detection, isolation, treatment, and reintegration strategy against COVID-19. A total of 2,534 cases of different COVID-19 variants had been detected in the country. The Department of Health believed that it is one of the main reasons of the increase in COVID-19 infections in other regions in Visayas and Mindanao. For Eurotv News, Warren de Guzman.
After the support of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and the Department of the Interior and Local Government, the Department of Foreign Affairs now accepts the Philippine ID as a valid proof of identity to those who are applying for having a passport and other consular services. Vanessa Cleopas with the details.
The Department of Foreign Affairs has announced that they will starting to accept national identification or the Philippine ID as a proof of identity for the passport applications and other consular services. This is after the calling of the Philippine Statistic Authority to the other government agencies at private sectors to accept PhilID and other transaction under the Republic Act No. 11055 or the Philippine Identification System Act. It was earlier the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and the Department of the Interior and Local Government supports the usage of PhilID as a proof of identity. According to BSP, banks should accept PhilID as a unique proof of identity of Filipinos who will open their bank account under the law. In a memorandum, the DILG instructed the local government unit to accept PhilID as an official identification proof in some public and private transactions. Under the Philippine Identification System Act, individuals or establishment who will not acknowledge the national ID will be fined amounting to 500,000 pesos without any reason. Over 200 PhilSys registration centers nationwide are now available for online appointment, booking, or you may visit the official website and social media accounts of the Philippine ID system for registration and inquiries. For Eurotv News, Vanessa Cleopas.
President Rodrigo Duterte has signed the Executive Order 139, which authorized the payment of the death and burial benefits of the indigenous people's mandatory representatives in barangays. Under the EO, Indigenous People Mandatory Representatives, or the IPMRS, who died during their term of the office are entitled to the benefits. The Department of the Interior and Local Government has been instructed to coordinate with the Department of Budget and Management and the National Commission on Indigenous People, who will assert the amount of the death of and burial benefits of the IPMRS terms. The Manila Metropolitan Theater opens on December this year. The National Commission for Culture and Arts announces it was after more than 25 years of being closed. The MET was reconstructed and will be open soon. The details from Zay Soriano.
After 25 years of closure, the Manila Metropolitan Theater will be open to public this coming December. The theater was reconstructed after it was bought by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts to the government in 2015. According to NCAA Chair Nick Lizazo, the reopening of MET is a symbol of the return of the Philippine theater. This is a historical landmark designed by architect Juan Arellano, which opened in 1931. A fifth life of the Met to be considered, which has been destroyed due to the World War II. Aside from theater plays, films will be viewed in the Met as it will opens on December. Zay Soriano for Eurotv News.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines had received a total of 138 million pesos worth of weapons and equipments from the Joint United States Military Assistance Group to the Philippines. According to the officials, the U.S. will continue to support the AFP capacity building efforts through trainings and military equipment transfers. Catherine Landicho reports.
The officials from the Joint United States Military Assistance Group to the Philippines delivered $3.8 million or 138 million pesos worth of weapons and equipments to the Armed Forces of the Philippines at Clark Air Base on June 21st. Deliveries was both funded by the United States Grant Assistance and Philippine National Funds. It includes 9 M3P.5 caliber heavy machine guns, 10 mortar tubes, and equipment. The delivery is intended to enhance the AFP's counterterrorism and maritime security capabilities. According to HUSMEG Philippines Chief and Senior Defense Official to the Philippine Colonel Stephen Ma, the United States will continue to support the Armed Forces of the Philippines' capacity building efforts through joint training and key military equipment transfers. And added this quote, "Our mutual security collaboration remains a cornerstone of a free and open Indo-Pacific." The Philippines is the largest recipient of U.S. military assistance in the Indo-Pacific since 2015. The United States has provided more than 48.6 billion pesos or $1 billion in security assistance to the Philippines. This year, the United States and the Philippines are commemorating 70 years since the signing of Mutual Defense Treaty. And this delivery continues the United States' long-standing commitment to our Filipino allies. Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
Here's the latest in the Philippines weather. The southwest monsoon will continue to bring rainfalls over the most part of Luzon. Moderate with at times heavy rainfalls will be experienced in western part of central and southern Luzon, while the most part of Luzon had cloudy skies and localized thunderstorms. Fair weather conditions will be experienced over Visayas and Mindanao. Meanwhile, the Weather Bureau continuously monitors a tropical depression outside the Philippine area of responsibility. Based on the available data, it is 1,780 kilometers east of southern Luzon. Tropical depression has a maximum sustained wind of 55 kilometers and gustiness of up to 70 kilometers per hour. It moves northwest at the speed of 15 kilometers per hour. Weather disturbance is not expected to enter the PAR. Moderate to strong sea condition will be experienced over the northern part of the country, but no gale warning yet raised in the coastal areas. Here's the weather condition in the next following days. In our sports news, Phoenix Suns guard Devin Booker scored a record-high career triple-double and got a 1-0 advantage for his team against the Los Angeles Clippers in the Western Conference Finals of the National Basketball Association on Monday. Booker scores 40 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists. That brings his team nearing the NBA Finals. The All-Star guard amazed his teammate Jay Crowder after showing tremendous game in front of 16,853 live audiences in the Phoenix Suns Arena. In the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, Gilas Pilipinas swept the third and final window of the 2021 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers on Sunday. The national team stunned South Korea in their first meeting last Wednesday via a buzzer-beating dagger from SJ Balanghel and winning in 81-78. They followed by a win against Indonesia last Friday with 76-51 final score. They blew up the rival South Korea on Sunday with 82-77 final score. Gilas was able to continue its ticket to the continental showpiece on August in Indonesia. Now let's take a look at the current COVID-19 situations over the globe. And that has been the stories of the night, stories you need to know. You can always check out our social media accounts for the latest happenings over the globe. Thank you for joining me this evening. My name is Alvin Pelobello and this is Eurotv World News.